What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Wrestling Warm-Up. That's right, WrestlingRumors.net's premier and only Raw and pay-per-view pre-show. I've always brought to you guys by us, WrestlingRumors.net crew. We've got some new faces to the crew, which is pretty cool, so we're going to bring some of those on tonight. We're going to talk to those guys, some new freaking, awesome writers that we're going to have putting out some stuff constantly and in the evenings and some mornings and that good stuff. It's going to be good. I'm excited to have them on and have them with us. Of course, we have our old-time buddy John here joining us for, a rare Monday night appearance.
I am Malcolm Young, baby. That's all you need to know tonight.
Get out of here. That's not your Twitter handle. Don't start giving false advertisements, John.
Are you saying that there's some websites who just make things up? Are you saying there's some wrestling websites that just make things up for the sake of it, like making up rumors about Fred Durst or something, Doug?
There are websites that do that kind of crap, and it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it.
They got to get pussified, man.
They got to get, with the wrong spelling of that word. They have to get that way. A couple of the new faces we have with us. Drew Goldfinger, what's going on, my friend? Nice to have you on here with us.
How's it going, guys? I'm looking forward to coming on board and talking some wrestling.
You like the Beatles much?
Just a tad, I guess.
Yeah, just look at that back there in the back. That's pretty cool. And then we have Derek on with us. Derek Salton, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How you doing, Doug? It's great to meet all you guys finally. I know we've been just doing a lot of Facebook chatting, but good to put a name to a face and ready to talk some wrestling.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show. Now, we want to get to know you guys a little bit better for the viewers that are just now seeing you for the first time. Let them know where you guys are from, if they can follow you on Twitter, all that good stuff.
Cool.
Where are you from, Derek?
Oh, cool. Sorry, I wasn't sure you were talking about.
You're fine. I didn't move it off of you. It's still you.
It's all good. Cool. I'm originally from Kimberley, British Columbia, Canada, so another Canadian. So I apologize in advance, for that. Currently in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm a graduate student at Oklahoma State University, doing the whole band thing. But yeah, so just doing that, hanging out, and trying to have some fun doing some wrestling stuff.
Word. Welcome aboard. We don't have a resident Canadian anymore. We have Canadians.
That's
Canadians. We can't just call Walter a resident Canadian anymore. Drew, where are you from? Obviously, we see your Twitter handle there. They can follow you at NYJetsRule 71587. It couldn't have been a longer one to pick at that point.
Well, a little bit about myself. I currently live in Western Florida, which is a city in Fort Lauderdale. I'm a school teacher, so my main Twitter handle is for my school use, so that's why I have to have a secondary one.
I got you.
I'm a school teacher, and wrestling has always been a passion of mine, so definitely looking forward to talking about it.
Cool. And Adam Daly's joining us as well. Welcome, Adam. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir, on this wonderful Monday?
Beautiful. It's always wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah. You got this. Paul Orndorff would say so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, guys, obviously we got to talk about the first thing, the most important, the crushing news from last week that set us all, back into tears and into some choked up moments. But legendary Roddy Piper is no longer with us. Obviously, we continue to express our condolences to his family and friends and colleagues. And I don't know, whenever they have the funeral for this guy, there's going to be, you thought there were stars showing up and paparazzi everywhere for Dusty Rhodes' funeral. There's going to be a lot of people showing up for Piper's. I just want to go through, we got 5 guys in here. Let's each say something about Piper, if you watched him growing up or not. If you've watched wrestling in the last year, you know who Roddy Piper is. If you have the WWE Network and you've had it for the last year, or you've watched Legends House, you get kind of an idea of who Roddy Piper is. That's how current and casual fans are going to know who he is. That may not have studied the business, may not have seen anything past 2014, but man, I just want to say, freaking A, he's my all-time favorite heel growing up as a kid. Watching tapes back as a 7-year-old kid, and I got all the WrestleManias leading up to WrestleMania 8, and I got to watch WrestleMania 8 live, and got to see probably Piper's best match in ring which was against Bret Hart for the IC title. Instant classic. So for me, he was one of my all-time favorite bad guys watching back the tapes because he would say things that you had no idea someone was allowed to say on television back at that time. I mean, the guy came out in half black face, half black body, actually, when in a feud with a mixed person. It was so un-PC, so ready to fire back on people. You cannot insult him or you're going to get destroyed. You cannot, come at him in a certain way. He will go down as the best, in my opinion, the best mic worker ever outside of, there's a lot of guys that rank up there with him. Dusty Rhodes obviously being one of them. Paul Heyman obviously is right there with them as well. And Bobby the Brain Heenan on a microphone is a genius. But to me, knowing that he was my favorite heel, knowing that I lived to see him talk, I didn't live to see him wrestle. I lived to see him talk. To me, Roddy Piper is the best stickman ever, and he'll be missed. And like I said, I think my most fondest moment of Roddy Piper, because I want to get everybody else's most fondest moment of Piper, would be the Hollywood Backlot Brawl from WrestleMania 12, because I remember, watching that the first time live on pay-per-view and being so confused at the footage that they used for the Bronco chase, to where I'm looking at my mom going, is that not O.J. Simpson? Like, is that not the O.J. Simpson footage? Which, of course, she was like, yes, it is. And that's when I started getting a little bit more smart to the business at that point in 1996. So, at that point, internet had just come out, so I got really invested in that. But guys, like Adam, what's your most fondest moment and memory of Roddy Piper, and where did that come from? And let us know.
You know what? I'm going to take a different approach on this. It's weird because for me, like you said, I mean, there's a lot of great mic men, but I think Roddy Piper, for me, he really opened up the doors for what could be said later on. I mean, he pushed boundaries before it was really, really cool to push boundaries, and I think that, for me, always in comparison to like comedy, I look at Bobby Heenan as Lenny Bruce, and I look at Roddy Piper as George Carlin. So it hit me, I'll admit, a little bit harder than what I thought it typically would. But it's like this anytime we lose somebody in the wrestling world. For me, I always get the feeling it saddens me anytime we lose one of I say the original guys, as in a guy that was really just themselves turned up a couple notches, like losing Dusty, losing, Roddy Piper. These are guys that really got over because they were on the microphone. And really a favorite memory is, I'm going to kind of go personal now, so I'm going a different direction. A buddy of mine, I hope he's watching, RC, he is going up to Lance Storm's school come January to start training. And one of the biggest influences for him was Roddy Piper. Another one, a good friend of mine up in Minnesota has a hot rod tattoo. And those are the things I think that, we could wax poetic all day on everything that we've seen on camera. And I know a lot of people don't like the fact that kayfabe is, for all intents and purposes, dead. But, there was a meeting with him and Roddy Piper, and Roddy introduced him to his kid, and him, RC and his girlfriend. And it was just one of those moments in time where that was the moment where it clicked, and he knew from that point that, he had to be in the business somehow. And I think it's those little things like that we see from time to time. Or that we don't see. It's that human interaction. Those are the moments that anytime we lose somebody, that's what saddens me, is that next person, Roddy Piper could have influenced to jump headfirst into business, or things like that. So for me, I think it's the stuff that we don't see on camera. It's that next generation of people that he's going to influence, and it's not always what we see on TV. It's a lot of times it's just first-hand conversation, and it's life-changing.
Yeah, Drew, what do you think, man?
Just to piggyback off of what you were saying before, Doug, I mean, the fondest memories I had of Roddy Piper is just every time he was in the ring with that stick, and just kind of like I feel about Paul Heyman now, just stopping and listening to everything that he says and just capture, every moment of everything that he said. And it's crazy that it comes on the heels of, Dusty Rhodes a couple weeks ago, and dude was 61. I mean, it's just unbelievable to think about, but I mean, he'll definitely be missed, and just for me, just like you said, just always, so fantastic on the mic, good in the ring, fantastic in the ring, and just a big impact on all of us, I think.
Derek?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about his time in WCW. Actually, is where I first really remember Roddy Piper. Of course, I remember growing up the Piper's Pit stuff and all of his segments there. You know, you think you have the answers. I change the questions. I'll never forget that quote. That was fantastic. But I remember in WCW, he was actually pivotal, I think, to part of the Monday Night War and all of his interactions with the NWO. Just him and Bischoff going back and forth. I just have memories of them going back and forth. I thought that was great. I'll never forget when he got whacked with the guitar when the NWO 2000 was reformed and they tried to do all that thing again. I mean, I really think he was one of the figures that helped helped WCW go forward against the WWE. But I certainly will be missed. I think it's just most shocking, just, you know, Dusty Rhodes a couple weeks ago, and then this. Just, I mean, just kind of makes you really think. And I think, you know, we talked about this in the group chat. Just life is fragile, you know, and you just never know. You know, we have to just cherish the memory, or just cherish the time that we have, cherish the people that we're with, and make the most of every single day. But I will certainly miss the hot rod.
Absolutely, John.
I think the thing that people overlook with Roddy is that Roddy was probably the first, I'll say it, he was probably the first wrestler out there to bring an attitude to the ring.
Yep.
You know, prior to Piper, you had your old school heels, you know, but none of they were comic book character heels. Roddy Piper was the first badass. And it's funny because it wasn't your like traditional cool heel, because this is a guy who came to the ring in a kilt, but he just had this certain swagger about him. And you know, the thing about Roddy is that his more recent work with WWE, you know, it wasn't great. Every now and then they'd have some good segments, but it was largely inconsistent. You go back, and this is what the fortunate aspect of the WWE Network is, you go back and you can just watch these incredible moments that he had. And I'd even say I enjoyed the Zach Allen stuff. We're talking 12 years ago, you know, that he was doing on SmackDown. Right. That's good stuff too.
Yeah.
But I think if I can summarize this real short, I think my favorite thing about Piper is that I watched all of Legends House. I got very into Legends House, and that was the first time people saw the human side of this guy, and it just totally different perspective on him, and really that opened up a lot to me. And when I found out that he died, that was actually the first Roddy Piper that I thought of.
The man himself. But that's the thing. Like with his character, which of course if you watch Legends House, you know he'll tell you he's not a character. A lot of what you saw on TV was him, and that's
one of the motifs of the show, is that you have to separate the character from
correct. And so that, you know, that's a whole thing. I mean, the guy tried to leave the first night, walked out into the backyard, which was a desert area, and wound up just coming back in, you know, but he had to leave to try to get centered to come back and do the thing. But that was the thing with him, and again, we talked about how wrestlers come off, you know, they get over a lot quicker, they become legends when they have a lot more of elements of themselves in the character. And when you say, you know, he brought something different to a heel, when you look at like the heels of the old school days, you talk about like Buddy Rogers, you look at somebody like Harley Race as a heel. You know, those guys they weren't so talkative. I mean, Buddy Rogers obviously was, but he was the flamboyant, I'm richer than you. You know, that was his whole.
It was larger than life.
Right, larger than life. You know, but here comes Piper as a lunatic. I mean, one of the first promos that ever got him over. You know, you talk about your CM Punks, you talk about your Dean Ambrose guys that come out there and have a little bit of crazy to them. They got that from Roddy Piper, and they will tell you that they got that from Roddy Piper. You know, I don't like. He had to have that kind of respect for the guy, because he came out there. One of the first promos that ever got him over, he smashes a beer bottle over his head, a legit glass beer bottle. It was a Miller High Life bottle, champagne and beers, old school bottle. Shatters it all into his hand and into his forehead. And he looks into the camera and walks away, and you know, his tag team partner tries to get in there and say 2 or 3 words and leave, and just the broadcaster's standing there like, what just happened? Like, what just happened? He's that insane. He would say whatever he wanted to. He would do whatever he wanted to. The funniest things about those old Piper's Pit segments that you were talking about, where you know, he destroyed Frank there and threw him into the wall and said, you know, just when they think they got the answers. I changed the questions, and of course smashing the coconut over Snuka's head and all that kind of stuff. Or just his reaction to when Andre ripped the crucifix off of Hulk's chest, the way he touched Hulk's chest and showed him that there was blood on his chest. I mean, those things are classic, and you can't teach that. To borrow a line from Enzo and Kaz, you can't teach that, dude. He's ever going to be remembered as one of the, if not the greatest heels in wrestling history. And then, of course, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Stickman. And he'll be sorely missed. Like John said, I mean, I think him wrestling at WrestleMania 25 was cool, even though it wasn't obviously the greatest performance. The stuff he did in the first few minutes of the match, got the crowd going, which was pretty cool. It is what it is. He won the tag team titles with Ric Flair at Cyber Sunday in 2006. That was random and out of nowhere, thanks to fans voting for that to happen. They laid out the Spirit Squad, which was pretty cool, with Dusty Rhodes and Sergeant Slaughter in the corners as well. But I think people don't realize just how hardcore Roddy Piper actually was. If you go back and try to find the dog collar match that he had with Greg the Hammer Valentine at Starrcade, you'll just go, what is this? If Dana White wants to call wrestling fake, he just needs to go watch that match. While there's a little bit of choreograph going on, they're beating the absolute hell out of each other. We're talking hard shots. We're talking Roddy Piper's eardrum gets busted, and there's blood everywhere. That's a brutal match. You want to talk about Sergeant Slaughter versus Pat Patterson being hardcore when hardcore wasn't even a label yet. In their street fight that they had in Madison Square Garden. You can also talk about Starrcade '83, where you had Piper versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, which is a crazy match. Crazy match. And then, of course, they tried to book him in a boxing match with Mr. T at WrestleMania 2, and we know how that turned out. But Piper, you're going to be missed. I'm sure we're going to get some good tributes tonight on Raw. We're obviously going to start with the Tim Bell salute, even though they did it Friday night upon the news of Piper's death breaking on Friday. We're going to get the Tim Bell salute. I hope that they do some memories. They didn't do a lot of that with Dusty Rhodes. Like when Owen Hart died and when Eddie Guerrero died, we had cuts to superstars in the back talking about these legends, or now they're legends, but talking about these superstars that they worked with and how they affected their lives and how the death is affecting their life. And we don't get that anymore. It's a straight up, hey, we're still going to do Raw. We're going to do some exclusive. We're going to discuss Roddy Piper stories. They're going to do they're going to get a Legends panel together like they did for The Dream and have that on the network next Monday night after Raw, because we still haven't heard that they've replaced Austin and Paige tonight. So I'm assuming Austin and Paige is still on. They're not going to do the special tonight. But that's just where we are. They're going to do that stuff outside of Raw. We're just going to have a regular Raw with a Tim Bell salute at the start of the program. And then, of course, some excellently well-done, put-together video memory package with some either Philip Phillips song or Need to Breathe song in the background. So that's what's about to happen. But I think it's obviously necessary, and that's how we're going to kick Raw off tonight. There's a few things for Raw coming up tonight that we need to talk about before we get on to any other topic. I know we want to talk about John Cena and his injury and where that may go. We can talk about the WWE Network, what kind of content and all that kind of stuff they're putting on there. We saw that they're adding a lot of new stuff in the upcoming months from the second quarter earnings report. They said there was a lot of new stuff coming out. Guys, on Raw tonight, Brock Lesnar returns. We haven't seen Lesnar since the brawl, and he was arrested, which no details ever came out about, which makes me furious that they even did that angle where he got zip-tied and walked out. Makes zero sense. Thank you, WWE Logic. But Lesnar returns tonight, guys. What do you think he's going to do? Obviously, Taker's not going to be there, but Lesnar will be. Will he say anything, or will everything come out of Paul Heyman? Will he try to attack somebody, blah, blah, blah? What's your thoughts on Lesnar coming back tonight on Raw?
I'd love a good old-fashioned gong tonight. Don't believe we'll see Taker, but I'd like to see some of those famous Taker mind games that have made him so great over the years, and I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see a lot from Heyman tonight. I don't know if Brock actually says anything. but I would expect a lengthy Paul Heyman segment, maybe right to start Raw. I don't know if they want to go to the John Cena right off the bat, but they advertised Lesnar was going to be there, so I think we get him out pretty quickly.
I'm going to go ahead and say you're wrong on that. I'm going to go ahead and say Seth Rollins opens the show bragging about breaking John Cena's nose, and he'd be an idiot if he didn't buy the
Which is exactly what they did on SmackDown. But
exactly what they did on SmackDown to practice that. So it's going to happen on Raw because we know if it happens on SmackDown, it's more than likely going to happen on Raw, but this time Triple H and Stephanie McMahon will be with him, and that's how that'll go down.
Sure.
But I think that's what we do, and he's stupid if he didn't buy one of the WrestlingRumors.net Rollins 316 shirts to wear and rock if he gets out there, because Rollins 316 we all know, of course, means and says, "I just broke your nose." I thought that was a really cool thought there, but yeah.
I think they're going to. I think it's going to be the 9 o'clock hour. Will be the Lesnar Heyman thing, and I think that I think what Drew was saying, we're going to get Paul Heyman doing his thing. I think the Gong thing will happen a week from now. They can just use this week to kind of set up the feud. Heyman will talk. Brock Lesnar will stand in the ring, and in that one segment, we'll make more money than all of us combined in a year.
But Derek, the way I see it, there's nothing more they can do for this feud. Unless they add a stipulation, which they could add a stipulation. They could add a stipulation, but unless they add a stipulation, there's nothing else they can do for this feud right now because they set it up perfectly in the first week.
Right.
And that was it.
Right, but, I almost think that you can... I think it will mean a little bit more if you just have those two, be like, oh, what's going to happen? I don't know. I just think that Heyman can just come out, do his normal stick. Everybody will still get really, really, really excited because that's just what happens. But then, they'll try to do that the next week, and then all that stuff will happen. I don't know.
I think 3 weeks out, if we're getting a stipulation tonight, do we agree with that?
Well, by God, we only have one match on the card right now. They haven't announced any other match for SummerSlam officially, so they better start announcing matches tonight. And if they're going to announce other matches, a stipulation would be a good thing to add onto this one, I think. No one else has any thoughts.
Well, sorry. Well, they could. What they could do is do the Lesnar thing tonight. Then maybe just have Undertaker do a video promo and then say something about a stipulation. This is what I think we should do. And then the next week, Lesnar comes out and Heyman does his thing, and then they agree. Maybe
I think Heyman Lesnar. If there's a stipulation, Heyman and Lesnar are the ones who are declaring that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Taker's not going to declare a stipulation. He just wants his daggum hands around Lesnar.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
And we're not getting a backstage promo from Taker. If anything, you're going to get Druids bringing down a coffin with a fake Lesnar in it.
Well, and that's the only way Taker would put a stipulation forward is if it was a buried alive match, or a buried alive or a casket match, which I do not think we're getting. So I think it's all Lesnar and Heyman.
Because if Taker's coming out to announce a stipulation, he's coming out to the ring to announce a stipulation. Yeah. He's going to cut his throat and say "Hell in a Cell" the only way that he can. So I don't know. We've already seen one Lesnar versus Taker Hell in a Cell. I don't know if they'll go that route again. Obviously, trying to protect Taker for future matches. But because the last one was bloody as hell. That was what 2003, 2002, November 2002.
I don't remember.
I think November 2002 is right.
Or October 2002. It was the fall of 2002, I do believe. Adam, what do you think with Lesnar tonight, man?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing everyone else is saying. This is going to be the Paul Heyman show. I think this is more just to get a response out of Brock because, like everyone said, we never really heard anything about the arrest and everything else past that. So I think they're going to further the storyline more. I don't think we're going to hear anything about Taker or stipulations until next week. I think 2 weeks out is when they'll drop that. It's kind of they don't need to rush anything with this storyline because, I mean, you guys have already said it. They already sold this match. There's not much more they could really do to elevate this. So I think that they need to tread carefully and not throw all their eggs in one basket too soon, so to speak. So I think this is going to get drug out a little bit more.
Yeah, and again, we got plenty of time. There's no need to rush anything outside of there's 3 months. SummerSlam's already sold out, so it doesn't matter if they try to promote the card early. We got 3 weeks, not 3 months. Sorry, we got 3.
There.
Right, we are going to be there. But they got 3 weeks to promote SummerSlam well. And I mean, I don't know how much longer they can put off making Kevin Owens and Cesaro official after SmackDown this past week, after the backstage segments that were cut between both of them. I think you have to have something else get added to the card this week just so that they're not rushing everything in the last two. But you know, I agree with you guys. I really think I said weeks, Rowdy. I corrected myself. Don't. You need to catch up. Is the video lagging for you? Possibly. But I do like Rowdy Punkin Wrestling in the chat room. He made a good comment about how Rollins could kick off his segment when he comes out to, of course, troll John Cena for breaking his nose. Come out to Cena's music, which would be great. Ultimate heel move.
That's awesome.
Play the music.
Yes.
You know, everybody's all about John Cena's coming out to start the show, and boom, Seth Rollins comes out. Holding his nose, doing whatever he can do. They need to do that kind of thing with him because he is the chicken heel that needs to do these kinds of things to get even more heat put on him. I think it would be great. I'm right there with Roddy Punkin Wrestling. I think that would be absolutely great.
When John Laurinaitis did that to Punk's music in Chicago.
Oh God, so phenomenal.
Oh yes,
it was incredible.
When it's effective, it's effective. I mean, you know, when
he came out with the T-shirt screen that's
Daniel Bryan at the beginning, you know, last year in the summer last year when you were building up to Brie versus Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon came out to Daniel Bryan's music with her Steph shirt on, doing the yes chants. Phenomenal. Got her a ton of heat. And then, of course, she was backstage with Ronda Rousey and all the four horsewomen and did an ALS bucket challenge in her crazy dominatrix outfit that she wore for SummerSlam. But I digress. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. If we're booking Raw, that's the strong way to get heat on Seth Rollins immediately. And I think it would be the best thing for business, if you will, in that retrospect. But if we do see, because you know, Cena obviously got his face rearranged by the knee of Seth Rollins last week. It's the first thing we talked about, or Adam and Sam, y'all were talking about that on the review show. And then, of course, all of us, as soon as it happened in our chat, we're just freaking out about it because it looked like his nose was in a different zip code than his face. But tough as nails. If you don't respect John Cena at this point, you are a smark that needs to get over yourself. The guy is so tough. He has been, no matter, I mean, obviously the springboard stunner needs to go away and never, ever, ever come back. But he's been trying out all these new moves in the ring to show his diversity. He's been going 30 minutes in main events, 30 minutes in big matches with guys like Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and putting on great matches. Get over yourself if you still hate Cena for Cena being Cena. I'm okay. I'm totally okay with you hating Cena because it's the same old thing as far as he's the champ and that they're going to put him in the champ match and that he's John Cena! Like, I understand that he's John Cena, and that's okay. But get over yourself. He's looking awesome as of late. I don't know what else he has to do other than get his nose rearranged and still go another 6 minutes and finish up a match that's good. And I do agree that Seth Rollins was doing a lot of excellent stuff in the match as well. That double suplex near the finish was absolutely incredible, and it's something that we hadn't seen before. And, of course, the commentators were just still harping on Cena, which you can have a gripe about. That's fine. They didn't even acknowledge the fact that Rollins just did something incredible. But he's showing why he's the face of the company, even though his face looks like a Monet painting. Like what? Tell me, like, yeah, he needs to come out in the Cody Rhodes, LeBron James face mask and do his match at SummerSlam, and come out to Smoke and Mirrors, and it would be awesome. But I want to know from you guys, like, why is there still so much resentment towards Cena online in the internet wrestling community when this guy constantly is putting out all these great matches as of late, is proving that he's tough as nails, and people just can't respect him. I understand you don't want someone shoved down your throats a la Roman Reigns, a la John Cena. I get it. But you have to have respect for the guy. Why is there none?
I mean, do you think it's just a tradition? You know, it's just been that way for so long that it's just that's who he is, and he's going to be that way until he retires. Because I think that everybody can see what he can do in the ring. I mean, there is no question about that. I mean, I think Cena's top 5 of all time, personally, and I may get a lot of hate on Twitter for that. By the way, at Derrico06, if you want to follow me on Twitter. But I think he's top 5 of all time, and I don't know. I just think it's a tradition that's who Cena is.
And it's like the cool thing. Fans always go with the cool thing. It's the cool thing to boo him. It's the cool thing to chant John Cena sucks with his theme music. I mean, I think I agree with Derek that, I mean, even in some of the matches he had with Owens, I mean, regardless of the outcome when he beat Owens, I mean, they were still chanting "This is awesome" at the end of the match. So I think the respect is there for his talent. I just think it's the cool thing, the traditional
Dude,
thing.
I'm not even talking about the fans in the stands. I'm talking about, because you could see them just chanting the, John Cena sucks with theme music because it's catchy, it caught on, and people like doing it. But they're also chanting and clapping for him at the end of the match. I understand that. I'm talking about the ones on the daggum internet that just constantly, John Cena is the worst and he needs to go away and he's not a great technical wrestler though. And I'm like, Hulk Hogan was a great technical wrestler. He was the most popular before he said the N-word over and over again. Whoa!
Hey, look. 2015 has been John Cena's best in-ring year of his career.
Absolutely.
And I was at the Royal Rumble for that triple threat match, which was the greatest match I've seen in person ever, at any level, at any indie level, WWE level, whatever it is. Greatest match I've ever seen. And I'm fortunate to be able to say that I've seen that match and Triple H Daniel Bryan in person, which I think are 2 of the best matches of the last 10 years. But anyway, John Cena delivers night in and night out. No. And I gotta tell you, this guy's personality has been showing so much through this year too. Between his appearance in Trainwreck, which was awesome. If any of you had a chance to see it, it was awesome.
It was fantastic.
I haven't had a chance. Is it worth it?
Oh, he's amazing in it.
Okay.
And he just, the guy is the total package. Total package. And WWE.com posted that article yesterday, I think it was, that looked at the top 6 next John Cenas or whatever it was.
Who's going to be the next John Cena? Yeah.
No one.
Nobody.
No one.
No.
We're not going to get another John Cena in wrestling, if ever, at least for a very long time. Just because the guy is just a jack of all trades.
And we do have people in the chat room asking, do we think Cena ties Flair's title record? No, he breaks. Flair's title record.
And they'll have Flair come out and say no one deserved it more,
Exactly right. So if anybody, don't worry about the fact that 16 is the number to tie, because he's not just going to tie it, he's going to break it, and then it's going to be who can beat John Cena's record when kids that are 2 are our age. Like that's how the talk's going to be. Adam, what do you think about this, man? I know you got some thoughts on John Cena.
Yeah, you know what I think? I was at WrestleMania 22 there when I think really that's when the John Cena polarizing, the polarized figure, so to speak, that John Cena has become. I think that's really when it started in Chicago, WrestleMania 22. You might not, I haven't gone back on a network and watched it recently, but a lot of the fan chants might get drowned out. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of very vulgar language being tossed towards Cena's way in his match against Triple H. That seemed to be the point where the fans started to just split, and I think that was the point where a lot of fans just saw that, okay, this is the guy they're going to go with, that's cool, but he was then completely repackaged, and I think at the end of the day it just got stale. I think fans were just bored of the stale, same old John Cena that they saw week in and week out, and no matter how they tried to tweak him, whether he was pretending to be a Marine and now everybody thinks he actually served this country, or whether he was just being the straight-up good guy, or whatever. I think.
But he wears dog tags. He wears dog tags, Adam.
It's terrible, right? And I think a lot of the shtick is just got old. Now, I will say this, though. In fairness to John Cena, we have to keep something in mind, guys. He was only doing what was told of him and what was asked of him. So I used to despise John Cena unequivocally, and I'm not going to deny that. Over the past 2 years, he's earned my respect and then some. And it's because finally they're allowing him to show what he can do in the ring. Guys, they don't think that John Cena just magically picked up the art of professional wrestling. He's been a wrestler for a long time. They were limiting
the prototype.
They were limiting. He was the prototype, right? They were limiting what he could do so that he wasn't going to get hurt. He's their workhorse. And at the end of the day, guys, we have to put it in the perspective of what's being asked of him and the money that he's bringing in too. So I understand that we hate that there's always this constant John Cena, but he's put the company on his back through a lot of hard times, and he's made the company a lot of money. And whether we like it or not, you have to respect the man. And these past 2 years, if you can't accept the fact or admit that he's been absolutely entertaining the past 2 years, you're a complete hater that just needs to get over yourself and him, or maybe just stop watching wrestling altogether.
Well, that's a bold statement.
Well, I think, that stuff that he did with The Rock. I mean, Cena, he was. I can see what you're saying, Adam, about him. You kind of hating him on for a while, but he was able to hang with perhaps one of the greatest talkers in the modern era, if not the greatest talker in the modern era, with The Rock. And he was able to hang with him promo after promo after promo.
I'm talking in the late 2000s.
If I'm looking for a definitive John Cena feud, I'm not looking at the feud with The Rock.
No, and I'm not. I'm talking about if you look at from
I'm looking at the Punk stuff.
The late 2000s, early 2010s or whatever.
I see what you're saying. Okay, sorry. Yes, I agree with you though on all that. All of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think even though fans had already started to turn kind of on John Cena. Without John Cena and Edge doesn't get over as a big heel. Sure. So without that happening, Edge doesn't become a Hall of Famer. He fails. That feud was.
Isn't it amazing how much Edge was able to accomplish in such a short period of time? You consider his first cash-in was January 2006 against John Cena. He retires in April of 2011, and in that span, he has 3 or 4 feuds with Cena. Right. All of which are feud of the year candidates, right? And it made him a Hall of Famer. Absolutely right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of. Look at when you actually look at how long Stone Cold Steve Austin was on top. He didn't start getting over until fans started organically getting him over in the beginning of '97. He doesn't get his first push until '98, and he's gone in 2003. And he changes the business forever. That's as far as who can sell out where for WWE at least. There's nobody that has pulled in more money as far as ticket box office alone than Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now John Cena may be close to surpassing merchandise wise, but by God, that's because John Cena has a different shirt every week. Stone Cold Steve Austin is still the most profitable character WWE has ever produced. And he was only on top for 5 years. And in those 5 years, he was gone for 13 months with a neck injury. Was back for a good 6 months. He left on his own again for 3 months, and then came back and finished out his 4-month run. That's it. So it only takes a spark.
And think about it this way: Cena's been on top in WWE longer than Hulk Hogan was.
Absolutely. And Stone Cold Steve Austin. And The Rock. Paul Heyman laid that out perfectly in his promos against Cena with Brock Lesnar. There's nobody in this business that has lasted this long on top. Ever. Ever.
Well, that's why I think he's in the argument for top 5 of all time, personally. I mean, how can you argue with the success that he's had over these years?
Because you can't say Ric Flair was on top his entire career.
No.
In WCW,
they wasted him.
Doing all that he could do to push him down to mid-card status below the U.S. title. And John Cena takes the U.S. title and makes it the main event segment.
But then again, that's a gripe now too for SummerSlam. So
But that's why I'm saying, John Cena took a mid-card title and made it more relevant than it's been in 5, 10, maybe 10 years. If not longer than that. I mean,
the U.S. title has never meant anything in WWE except for now.
Right. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, I think that's just a big thing right there.
I don't care what anybody says about the U.S. title and who's held it in WWE and blah, blah, blah.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because it was the U.S. title and it was always looked at, no matter if there were 2 brands and it was the IC title and the other brand, it's always looked at underneath the IC title, underneath the tag titles.
The last closest I can only think of was it MVP and Benoit who had the best of 5, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, if it was a best of
7,
feud, it was almost always Chris Benoit.
And it was Benoit MVP, I think, and that was probably the last time that title was.
That was 2006,
something like that.
And one thing I actually love the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. It kind of reminds me of the TV title. And I like the TV title back in the day because
it absolutely is.
Because you got to see these mid card guys. Like I remember when, I was a big WCW guy, so I'm sorry about that. But like
Arn Anderson, Booker T, Chris Benoit.
Right, and all those guys. I still remember the Benoit Booker T Best of Seven series as some of the best matches ever. And they're trying to do that again now with John Cena. So I think that's fantastic. I love where the U.S. title is right now. I think
not on the card.
Well,
you mean not being defended in a title versus title match at SummerSlam?
Well, I have a feeling that there's people that have some opinions on that as well.
Well, we have 3 weeks.
Right.
As of right now, that U.S. title is not going to be defended because obviously the U.S. champion beat the WWE World Heavyweight Champion on a Raw Monday night, made him submit.
Right.
So why would he have to put up the U.S. title why would he have to put that on the line at WrestleMania without the authority making him do it?
Right, but he'll want to. He'll say, "Of course, we're going to put the U.S. title on the line. This is SummerSlam." He'll do the John. Well, if he's able to wrestle, but he'll do the John.
He's going to wrestle.
You think so?
I don't care what anybody says. This man, he literally tweeted an image of himself working out in slow motion last night. There's no way that he's not sitting there going, "I'm at least going to get, busted open one more time and wrestling at SummerSlam. And then if I need to go have reconstructive surgery so I can be an actor whenever I do retire, I will be off for a few months."
He's not going to wrestle until SummerSlam.
No.
Okay.
And if he does, the man's a robot and he's not real. He's not a man. He's a cyborg. He's a cybernetic fiend that is Team 1000 at this point. He's just molted back. He comes back. His nose is perfect today. Like tonight, he comes out first thing. Hey guys, joke's on you. It was silly putty. I'm all good.
Cena wins, LOL.
Cena wins.
So do you think that he's going to face off? Do you think he's going to face off for the world title at SummerSlam?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Who else would have that right at this point?
I think you could very easily. Well, okay, yeah. Don't say things like that. But you could throw anybody in there. You could throw Orton in there if you needed to. You could throw Sheamus in there if you needed to.
Nope.
I just don't understand that if the plan all along was Rollins and Cena at SummerSlam, why they didn't have him drop the U.S. title.
Because it wasn't the plan all along.
It wasn't.
They just book on the fly, Drew.
This is reaction to ratings by Vince McMahon. It is obvious. Then the week after the weakest Raw rating since 1997, 4 weeks ago, the immediate reaction was, "Hey, John Cena is going to be in the main event with the U.S. title with Cesaro." Immediate reaction.
I forgot about that. You're right.
So then it was, okay, the next few weeks, John Cena is going to be in the main event, and we're going to make Cesaro babyface and team with him and Orton, and that's how we're going to build to the next feuds for SummerSlam. Boom. Main event. He comes out and gets in Rollins' face last week. Boom. Main event. John Cena's back in the main event because USA Network probably said to Vince McMahon, "Hey, remember when Cena's champion? People watch, unless it's 2010."
That's. I get it, but that's sad, because I think there are at least 5 or 6 guys that could be put in the main event.
You just said John Cena's top 5 of all time. How is it sad?
He is top 5 of all time. I agree with you completely, but give somebody.
He's the guy. Then he's the guy. If you put him down as mid-card with a mid-card title, and he's helped elevating that mid-card title, and say what you will about him beating Owens clean, he elevated Owens immediately on the card to a guy who's upper mid-card main event talent. Cesaro getting rubs with him immediately made a tag team champion, a former tag team champion, and someone that before he was in a tag team with both the Real Americans and or Kid Zaro. There's no way that you would say Cesaro's a main event talent. You know that he's a main event talent because you know what he can do, but WWE doesn't look at him that way. He works 3 matches with John Cena, and they're getting rights from Ring of Honor to show his daggum matches on WWE.com saying Cesaro now is breaking brass rings. Why? Because he worked with John Cena. John Cena elevates all these guys no matter what title he's holding, no matter what part of the card he's on. So if he's the one elevating all these guys, and he's your boy, he's your workhorse who can put on a new shirt at SummerSlam and sell a lot more merchandise, why do you not put him against Seth Rollins? Who else can do that for him? Who else can do that with Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins' stock is doing this, in the eyes of Vince McMahon. And John Cena, it's because of how he's doing the U.S. title and elevating these superstars, is going back to this. And you know that USA Network's like, hey, our ratings have been down, put John Cena back in the main event. And Vince says, absolutely, because he's our man.
And this
you can put Sheamus in there, you can do whoever, you can put Owens in there, blah, blah, blah. You can interchange whatever name you want to put that should be facing Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And none of them are going to make more sense to WWE than John Cena.
But this is a great transition to our next topic, because while ratings have sucked, business has never been better.
Right.
Because they're rolling it in right now, Doug.
And that's all from, network and merchandise and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't, like, the funny thing is to them, they need to keep NBC Universal happy because they have this long extended TV deal that they signed last year that, gives them a certain amount of money per, as long as they're making, living up to their, to
and
what
they're going to get SmackDown.
Correct. And USA's getting SmackDown. And it may go to Tuesday nights and be live if Jerry the King Lawler isn't just trolling fans. That's two nights in a row live product, and that kills a lot of Dirt Sheets business on Tuesday nights because no more spoilers. But holy crap, dude! You got possibly 5 hours of live TV on USA. It's hard to get people to sit down and watch 5 hours of TV. However, when I'm paying $10 a month, or more importantly, $9.99 a month, and I am able to watch and stream whatever I want whenever I want, I can take hours out of my week to sit down and watch television, watch wrestling stuff. It's TV, and this is TV in general. TV is dying in general. You can now buy Showtime through Hulu. You don't have to have a cable provider to get premium networks anymore. You can just pay another $8 a month and get Showtime on Hulu. On Amazon Prime, you can get HBO Go now for $8.99 a month. So people are having to adjust. Cable is having to adjust the numbers outside of live sports that you can't find results for. You can't go back and really watch because wrestling's different. It's a soap opera. It's a television show. It's not a live sporting event. No matter what you want to say it is, it's not a live sporting event. It's not the It's not the NFL. It's not NCAA sports. It's not your college World Series. It's not your live sports. It's not getting the ratings that live sports are getting, even though it did in the 90s. In the 90s, we didn't have YouTube was not around, folks. You couldn't just go up and pull up something 24 hours after it aired and try to find highlights from it. You didn't see, whether it was 34 seconds or freaking not, you didn't see the main event of a $60 pay-per-view on every single person's freaking Facebook page as you're scrolling through your timeline 2 days after the main event of that thing. I literally was scrolling through my timeline today and saw that main event between Rousey and Betta. I saw that over and over and over again as I kept scrolling down my feed going, every single person is sharing this main event. I don't care if it's 34 seconds or not. I watched Brock Lesnar's last fight. He was out in 20 seconds. Brock Lesnar's knocked out. That match was a waste. Mm-hmm. But I paid $60 to see it. And now it's like, they paid $60 for this pay-per-view that went an extra 3 hours and a 34-second main event at 1:30 in the morning. And I just saw it for free 90,000 times on my Facebook page. TV's changing. Ratings don't really amount to what they used to. They're still rolling in money. I'm sure it was not WWE that said, "Holy crap, the ratings are in the threes, they're in the twos. We have to put John Cena back on top." I'm telling you, if anybody said anything to Vince to make him go, "Okay, we need to move John Cena back," it was USA Network themselves. It was the network heads, which, he's Vince's boy. Why wouldn't he? They don't have Brock Lesnar on every week.
Very true. I got to say this, Doug. This is to back up your point of what you were talking about, because I'm monitoring our Twitter and whatnot while this show is going on. And apparently, I may have missed this. I don't know if anyone else saw this. WWE released a "You Can't See Knee" T-shirt. And it's Seth Rollins putting his knee to Cena's face, and it's all written in Cena's font. like
Get
the
outta
You
here.
Can't See Me font. And
It's on shop.
It's on shop. It's You Can't See Me.
I get emails all the time from them. I did not get that email today. I'll tell you that.
It's all over Twitter right now.
Yeah, it's on the front page.
You can't see me. So if you don't think Seth Rollins is coming out on that T-shirt tonight,
Yeah, it says never.
100%.
It says never shuts up. You can't see me.
Guys, when he made his Daily Show appearance the other night, that was the very first thing Jon Stewart said. Was look, it's the man that I used to have a rivalry with, and the same guy that broke John Cena's nose this past Monday on Raw.
Right.
I mean, and then they went on to show a lot of Seth Rollins merchandise too. So I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if Rollins drops the title and then slowly becomes a face. Otherwise, why would they be pushing as much merch?
Well, it's all
this is heel merch. So
It's heel merch.
This is heel merch.
This is
Yeah,
never
but it's
shuts
easy to
up.
say that, but the first time he was on when he was playing super heel, they showed no merch. This time they were buddy-buddy. It was a different interaction this time than it was last.
They're also realizing that they're getting more money from merchandise and the WWE Network than TV. So why not push heel merch? If smart fans are heels, which is why we immediately put up a Rollins 316 shirt in our store. If smart fans love the heels more than the faces, especially when it comes to John Cena and programs that he's working with, why wouldn't people jump on and buy a new Seth Rollins shirt that just came out in the last has to be hours? Because I didn't see it earlier when I was on there scrolling around seeing this take 25% off your order. So not only are you telling everybody, okay, you can get this new T-shirt, and it's 25% off if you get it today, you better believe he's rocking that shirt to the ring tonight. And he is starting off Raw talking about it. And I love the fact that I love this. Like, I love that. This is amazing. I wish I came up with that. No, I went Owen Hart and ripped off the Austin 316 thing.
You can't see me.
You can't see me. I guess you gotta put your leg up. Yeah, it's like the picture of it's like him doing the knee off the top.
It's like Rollins flying in midair.
Yeah, it looks like he's just soaring through the air with his knee. You can't see my knee. You can't see my knee. I'm telling you, he better cut a 10-minute promo on how his knee is the greatest answer to all the fans' worries, where his knee will eliminate John Cena from every main event from now on. It has to be about his knee. Has to be about his knee and the fact that he took out John Cena, and he has to keep saying indefinitely until we see John Cena in 2 weeks. What'd you say?
He should have the running knee finisher.
He should. He should use the running knee finisher. Be better than Pedigree. Daniel Bryan ain't coming back until WB gets off.
Be better than sticking your head through a ceiling tile.
Oh my God! All right, so we can talk about that real quick.
Yes, we can.
Finn Balor on Friday night, because this is a heated topic between John and I. We're on the same page with this one. And chat room, you feel more than welcome to comment, and I know that you will. Friggin' A, like you're gonna have. Hey, P.S. Marcus Owens has 4 shirts, not 3 on there, and he just had 2 more come out in the muscle shirt. So boom, he has like 6 shirts on WWE Shop, and a gym bag, and a baseball cap. Kevin Owens is selling merchandise like nobody else's business. So yeah, but no,
Pokemon cards.
Yeah, so gotta catch them all. If you look at Finn Balor's Twitter Friday night in Lakeland, Finn Balor goes to do his coup de grace finish, which is, a double stump off the top rope. It's god-awful. And he goes to jump up. For some reason, Triple H booked the NXT event to be held inside of a Family Dollar, and he jumps off the top rope. His head goes through one of the push-up ceiling tiles of Family Dollar, and literally his head goes through the thing. And somebody grabs the best picture of the night with his knees tucked up to his chest, where he's about to come back down with the coup de grace, and his head is through the ceiling tile, goes through the ceiling tile. And I'm like, if there's no other thing to tell you, Finn Balor, just use the Bloody Sunday DDT and stop jumping off the ropes for your finish. That looks like it looks so bad, John.
See, here's the thing.
It's so bad.
We had the conversation earlier about
who
could be the next Cena. If there's anyone in NXT who could be the next Cena, it's Finn Balor. And just with the whole package, the look, everything, and it just we had this conversation last night. a definitive superstar, and I don't mean like WWE superstar, like a guy who moves money, is identified by their finisher. Austin had the stunner. The Rock had the rock bottom and the people's elbow. Cena, whether you like it or not, the AA.
Fireman's carry, yeah.
People identify him
F5.
by that. The Undertaker, the Tombstone Piledriver, the F5 for Brock Lesnar. The coup de grace is not going to work. As you know, it's not a strong finisher. Like even Hardy with the Swanton Bomb and RVD with the Frog Splash, it just had more of an impact. The coup de grace is me stepping on you.
And not even stepping on you. It's a fake wrestling move. He slides his feet into their arm.
And it's dangerous.
They cup their arm like this, and he's supposed to just maybe land here when he actually winds up where he could break his freaking leg if he misses. Like it's
break their face.
It's dumb. It's dumb. Because it either looks terrible or it looks like he literally just drove their face through the mat when he does it reverse when they're on their stomach and he lands on their head. That's the only time it's cool. When they're facing when they're looking up at the lights and he comes down and rolls into their side in their arm so that their arm catches the weight of it and he rolls down and falls backwards. It looks like he gets hurt more than the guy does, and it's a waste. It is the coup de waste, and I don't like it. And he needs to just use the Bloody Sunday DDT, and they can't tell me that he's not using the Bloody Sunday DDT because it's too dangerous, because he used it in Beast in the East, and it should be his freaking finish. It's dumb that he's not. It's the Impaler. That's all it is. Which Gangrel used, which it was the Even Flow by Raven. Everyone's used the DDT, but now that everybody uses the DDT all the time, we can't use the DDT as a finish. It's stupid.
Well, tell us how you really feel, Doug.
It's dumb. I'm telling you that right now. It's dumb. The guy has such a look and can be marketed, and it has the Demon, which is the best, one of the best entrances since Bray Wyatt. When you have the Undertaker having a 3-minute long entrance, and you have Bray Wyatt having a 2 to 3 minute long entrance, the best entrance since Bray Wyatt is Finn Balor as the Demon. It's marketable. All the Demon merch is marketable, but by God, he's not going to be a legend if he comes out and tries to use the coup de grace for the rest of his career as his finish. He's going to wind up hurting himself or one of the guys down there, and it's going to be a daggum shame. It looks dumb every single time he does it. I love the guy. It's
and
dumb.
I think the reason why Balor's such a wild card is because kids love him, women love him, and men love him. I mean, he's the guy. He's one of the guys that it doesn't matter what age range or what fan base or whatever demographic they try to pigeonhole you in. Everybody seems to enjoy Finn Balor, and it's because of his creativity. It's because of the marketing ability. Listen, ladies, if you're watching, guys, if you're watching, you may have heard this. Women were doing this. He's my Christian Grey thing. Listen, Sam is not in the clean-cut dudes at all. You probably figured that out by now. And all I heard for about that the entire time that movie was in theaters was oh, Finn Balor's my Christian Grey. So that should put in perspective that he's the guy that, I mean, and the merchandise that they could sell off him alone too, if he flipped up his paint every couple feuds or every couple months or so, every time he changes that paint, sell a new shirt, just like they do with Cena. Except you wouldn't hear as many people complain because it wouldn't be there would be something creative behind it. I think that, and I completely 100% agree with you guys about the coup de grace. It got to go. I think it looks dangerous. It's a broken ankle waiting to happen. It's somebody's, it's a broken sternum waiting to happen. I think there's just so many things that's the one, I think, fall back on Balor right now. If they change his finish, I think he could be a mega star.
So Finn Balor, ball gags, and feather ticklers, and anything like leather whips will be appropriate.
If Sam had her way, probably yes. Yeah.
Doug, I'm just thinking of Mantar coming out.
I know, man. That's the best thing ever. The last Botchamania was Botchamania like 280 or something like that, 300, 330, something. I don't know. The latest edition of Botchamania has had 3 different endings to it, and one of them was Mantar coming out to Finn Balor's entrance, catch your breath, which absolutely hilarious. He did that, and then of course he dubbed over Lesnar destroying the car with Walter Sobchak destroying the car in the Big Lebowski. Another classic moment from that video. Very, very funny. I always promote Matthew Gregg as much as possible. Go find him on Twitter, and of course, watch Botchamania. It's now pop culture, and he's getting money to do it, which is great. So I don't know. Mantar, that was classic. Mantar coming out to Balor's music is amazing. So that's you have Raw tonight. Lesnar's going to be back. Hopefully we'll get more SummerSlam matches put on the card. Obviously Cesaro Owens has a feud going on. Sheamus and Orton are still doing their thing. A lot of people think, I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's a 4-hour event. That's not happening. You might get a tag team match between these 4 guys tonight, but you're not getting it at SummerSlam. I'll go ahead and shoot that down in a heartbeat. That's not happening. There's not going to be a tag team match at SummerSlam between these 4 guys. When you have another time where you could actually, put on 2 20 to 30 minute matches, you're gonna get Cesaro, Kevin Owens, who have now, since John Cena got replaced by Cesaro at live events, Cesaro and Kevin Owens are practicing their SummerSlam match at live events every night in the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Their match is going to be 27 to 30 minutes, and it's going to be a showstopper. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. I don't care what you think about Kevin Owens, casual fans. I know all of you hate him. That's because he's doing his job. He's supposed to make you hate him. So that's going to be great. Orton Sheamus put on a good old-school style match, a brawl, a storytelling match at Battleground. They'll probably do something a little bit different this go-around. We'll see how that goes. Of course, you're going to see some freaking 9 women in a match probably. 3-on-3-on-3 in a Divas match, even though they could split those girls up into different matches and have long matches on a 4-hour card. I'm more excited to see what happens. We got a glimpse of some new gimmicks that may be coming out for some of the mid-carders. Adam Rose and Brad Maddox are a tag team now called Beef Mode. That's going to be weird and wild to see what that's going to be about it. It's the same thing, but it's Mantar moves at the beginning of the theme song. Be prepared for that tonight. That's going to happen. And then, of course, you have Damian Sandow is Damian Sandow now, even though that changed that on WWE.com, even though he's probably on Superstars, and we won't see him anyway. But I would love to see what they're going to do with these 2 tag teams. Curtis Axel's just Curtis Axel, and he's babyface in cargo shorts. I don't know what's happening there, but there just needs to be some more. I mean, we're gonna obviously get Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper doing some stuff tonight, leading up to what we expect to be a tag match between Reigns and Ambrose with the Wyatt family. Obviously, the reports this past week have said Sting is no longer officially pinned in to work a match at SummerSlam, even though he still may appear at the event. He is doing the fan signings through SummerSlam Access, so we'll see what happens there. They've got 4 hours, and the only other match that we know that they could probably put on outside of the ones I just mentioned is Stardust versus Neville, with Stephen Amell being involved somehow. So that match lineup right there does not equal 4 hours.
I know that they're doing the NXT live event the night before. Is there any way we see any NXT possibly on the SummerSlam card?
Enzo and Kaz, maybe. That's about it.
I would love that. That'd be awesome. But
even if they just come out to cut a promo, that place will explode.
I know we released that Ryback story earlier. I mean, do we see Ryback anywhere near SummerSlam, or is he going to be out for a while with the IC title?
That's another good question. If he goes any farther being injured, then it might just be they may have to do something with the IC title. I'm not really sure what they're going to do there.
I mean, I think it's crazy that we won't have either one of those, possibly not even have either one of those mid-card titles on the SummerSlam card.
I think we're going to have the IC title in a match, but that it just may not be with Ryback involved.
Still Miz Big Show, I guess.
Well, I mean, they got a abeyance. I think WWE Vacant will hold the Intercontinental title before either one of those guys. So, as we leave, you can meet Liam Gabriel, who just showed up and is here to hear us say goodbye. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Welcome to the show. Making your debut.
Oh yeah. Now, would you guys think that they can throw the IC title in with Cesaro and Kevin Owens at SummerSlam?
I don't think it needs it. And they haven't really alluded to either one of those guys winning the IC title. Would it be a good thing if Cesaro had the IC title and could elevate it the way Daniel Bryan and or John Cena has with the U.S. title. Could be, but I think they have bigger plans for Cesaro and Kevin Owens going into SummerSlam and into the fall. Whether or not that could be a U.S. title feud down the line, since the U.S. title now has been made more important, I'd see them feuding over the U.S. title before I'd see them feuding over the IC title. The IC title has now taken a step back to the U.S. title, which is it's bizarro world.
You know what the coolest thing about that Cesaro-Owens feud is that, everyone loves to cheer both guys, but people are going to actually be booing Kevin Owens because they're going to want to see Cesaro win.
Absolutely.
And that is the coolest thing. That is the coolest thing.
And their backstage work has been awesome. Cesaro has actually been doing good stuff backstage. So we'll see how that unfolds tonight. Raw starts in exactly 12 minutes on the East Coast. Enjoy it. You can follow all these guys on Twitter, and I'll let you plug your Twitter handle, Adam.
AdamDaily13, even though I messed it up last week on our own show. And catch us tonight after Raw, me and my lovely wife, Sam. We'll be doing a Raw review, and we're going to do a Paige Austin podcast review, too. So
Absolutely. That'll be after the podcast goes live on the network, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, it won't be immediately after Raw. It'll be after the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna preempt them both, so they'll both be up YouTube standards hopefully tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because it takes forever for a YouTube video to go up if you're not doing Hangouts, man. It's crazy. Derek, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Derico06, Derico like Jericho, except with a D, 0, 6.
There you go. Drew.
Again, you can find me on Twitter at NYJetsRule71587. If you look up my name, you'll be following a whole bunch of messages I send to high school students, so I don't think you necessarily want that.
You're a creeper if you do that at some point. John Alba obviously is at Whoa!
Or just at John Alba. Either.
Since he owns the rights to his own Twitter handle.
I do. I finally am my own name. Whoa!
Yeah, of course. And Liam, where can you follow them on Twitter, bud?
At Liam Gabriel WR.
There you go. Doug O'Mac at WrestleRumors tonight. Chris Walter will be handling that. Our other Canadian will be tweeting there. I'll be covering some stuff on Facebook and everywhere else. Enjoy wrestling. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.